Okay, hello. Today we're looking at video tools within Vectorworks Spotlight. There's quite a few, but specifically we are gonna zoom in on the projector and the television display tools. This venue doesn't come integrated with a projector, so we're just gonna move to the side of the drawing space and play around with the tools a little bit before adding a pair of television displays into the drawing. Yeah, so let's just get started. Under the audio and video tool palette, you can see that the very first option here is a video screen tool. This is the one that we're going to be playing with first. So I'm just going to click on this and I'm just going to click once to place, and the second click is for the rotation. The same drill as you would see with any other tool within Vectorworks. The object preferences window will pop open. I'm not going to touch anything yet. I'm just going to hit OK and let the projector appear. So I'm going to go back to my selection tool and I'm going to select on this projector, and we can take a look at the settings in the object info palette. The first thing you'll notice is there is an option of screen type, and here we can do a front projector, a rear projector, or an LED. So as the name implies, rear projector just flips the projector over to the back of the screen. LED screen is actually an LED wall, but it is a different kind of LED wall, so it's one big panel as opposed to a screen made up of smaller panels. We're going to stick with the front projector for now. There is an aspect ratio, so most projectors and screens these days work with a 16:9 or 16:10. I'm going to go with a 16:9 for now. And we also have a stock size. What this is referring to is it's talking about the size, the physical size of your screen. So if you see I have a 9 foot by 16 foot over here, that would basically be a 9 foot by 16 foot size screen. So going back into my top plan view, if I were to change my stock size, you will notice that my projector is shifting and the screen stays put. Okay, this is a little detail that you need to pay attention to for a setting that we get to adjust later on within the program. So switching over to our left side view, you can see that the projector is currently in the middle of the screen and the screen itself starts from the ground. If you want to have this screen a little bit higher off the ground, it is as simple as assigning a Z height to the screen. And once it's up at a higher Z height, you can start customizing the way the screen is supported to make it look a little bit more exciting. Okay, first we want to look at the screen itself. You have the option of rendering it with a border, or rendering it with a frame, or with neither of these things and just rendering the screen itself. I'm going to go with the frame for now. You can also specify a trim on the top, bottom, left and right of the frame if you need to. And then we have a tilt. Okay, this tilt is referring to the tilt of the screen itself, not the projector. So if you do a -20, the screen is going to tilt towards you. I'm not going to touch this for now. I'm just going to leave it at 0. And then further down, we have the option of screen support. And what this does is it lets you put your screen on goalpost legs, a little bit like what a fast forward screen would look like. You have a tripod, if your screen is big enough for a tripod, and you also have sliders, or roll down and roll up. Okay, for now I am going to leave it in the goalpost legs setting. I also want to scroll back up right now and quickly change my stock size to a 18 by 32, which is the biggest size. Then we head back down to the dress kit. Okay, this is a very conference style look. So when you add a dress kit, it just adds drapery on the sides, the top and the bottom of the screen. You can customize these, like let's say I want a left leg of 1 meter, and I want a right leg of 1 meter as well. You can adjust it to fit the backdrop of your conference. The rest of the settings here are the same as you would see with any soft goods. Scrolling down a little further, we have the option to edit a screen image. Here you can use any of the existing Renderworks textures to throw an image up onto the screen. Yes, you'll need to adjust it to fit. So if I'm doing a 16:9, I will want to go with this one. And when I hit OK, you can see all the colors of the color bars on the screen. What I like to do is I actually like to import in content from a poster or image that I am working on for the show. That way I can give my client a better render of the show using their actual content. So how I do this is I go into my resource manager and selecting my file, I will add a new resource, and over here I'm gonna use a new Renderworks texture and I'll create. So I'm gonna call this Vectorworks training, and I'm going to import in a image. Okay, and I'm going to import in an image file. In my downloads folder, I have a poster over here. So I'm just going to hit enter, and you'll see that this is the poster I'm trying to import in. I'm just going to hit OK, and the poster appears over here. So here again we do OK, and now I can just click on this screen, edit screen image, and I should be able to my screen image over here to the loud and raw new resource, which is over here. And I just hit OK, and you get the image of your poster on the screen. I think this helps if you're trying to add a little bit more personality to the drawing, and it also helps your client visualize the show a bit better. Now that we have the screen's image done, we can click on the projector again, and we can scroll down a little further, and you'll see that there is an option to change the projector over here. We can do a large projector, a small projector, or a medium projector even in a cage. Okay, it just helps with the rendering, and if you're rigging your projector, it would help if the projector was in a cage. And then scrolling down a little bit further, we have the option over here that says place based on. So if you remember earlier on, we talked about how changing the screen size moves the projector. A little bit about projector theory here is the size of the image is dependent on how far the projector is from the screen, calculated against the lens ratio of the lens that you're using. So if you say place based on lens, it will assume that the lens is a 1.2, and it will shift the projector to meet the size of the image. If you set this to place based on distance, it will lock your current position and change the lens setting to get the correct size image that you need. An important little detail, especially if you're in a tight space and you only have that much of a throw distance, then you would set it to place on distance and see what kind of a lens ratio you need for it to work. Then we finally also have the position of the projector itself. So looking at this on a left side view, you can see the projector is currently in the middle of the screen. So vertical position says screen center. I can put this on a stand. I can put it rigged. or I can just align it to the top or bottom of the screen. In this particular example, I'm going to set it on a stand, which will then open up another option to change the type of stand that we have. This is a standard 7 foot by 5 foot scaffold. We can use an AV card if you're into that, or you also have the option of a table, so a square 30-inch table. The common places that you find people setting a projector up. For my sample, I am going to go with a scaffold, a 5 foot by 7 foot. Okay, and we're going to go back into the top plan view. One last thing that we have in your projector settings is right at the bottom, there is an option for multiple projector. What this does is it doesn't give you a blended screen, it just multiplies the number of projectors that you have firing at the same surface. So if I were to do a stacked setting here, you will see that Vectorworks has a ×2 over here, and if we go over to the isometric view, you can see that it is a stacked set of projectors. Alternatively, if you do a side by side, you also get the same 2 projector render, and this time in the top plane you will no longer see a ×2 because it's quite obvious that there are 2 projectors. Right at the bottom here, we have some data information. You can assign projector weight, you can assign a load name, you can assign details for your projector, which comes in really useful if you're doing data management later on in a larger drawing. As always, don't forget to go to classes and assign default classes with prefix if you're going to keep this in your drawing. And once that's done, I of course also want to move this over to a new class within my drawing. I'm going to put this under production, projector. So a new class, production, video, projector. And okay. I'm not keeping this projector in my drawing, but I think that it is a useful process to get into my workflow of creating the layers and classes as we go along. Next, we're looking at the multiple projector tool, which is the blended screen. It works in the same way. You just click on the tool and you click once to place, and the second click is for a rotation. The object preferences will appear. I am going to hit OK for now, and I'm going to go back to my selection tool. The first thing you'll notice is this screen doesn't have any projectors. It's not an LED wall, it just doesn't have the projectors inserted yet. And how we work with this is we need to first set the dimension of the screen, and then Vectorworks will insert the projectors automatically. So I'm gonna zoom into this, and I want to click on this and first go into the object info palette here and change the width of my image to 21 meters. Once that is done, I also want to change the height to 6 meters. And looking at this in an isometric view, we can see that it looks like a fair bit of a monstrosity compared to what we have over here. What's unique here though is because of the very unnatural width of the image, we do need to have a blended screen. So clicking on this screen, I'm going to scroll down in the object info palette and look for the option to insert projectors. And then you simply click on this to insert your projectors. You will see that Vectorworks inserts 3 projectors for us, and you'll also see that the projection beam of each projector has an overlap with its partner. This is a bit of an essential thing when you're doing a blended screen setup, because if you're going for a soft edge, you want whatever you have on projector A to be able to also be projected on projector B, especially at where the 2 images are stitched together. So the target is usually somewhere around a 25% overlap. I'm not sure whether we have a 25% overlap here, but as you can see, there is a significant overlap. Then we can click on each projector, and the settings are exactly the same that you would see on a single projector setup. So I am going to click on all three of these projectors, and I'm going to set them down as a projector medium in a cage, and I'm also going to put them on a stand, and they are all going to be on scaffolds, and they are all going to be a side-by-side projection. And you can see how Vectorworks really puts everything together for us, and we can even go into the detail of calculating exactly what the throw distance is between this projector and the screen. So let's say now that you have all this set up and you're very happy with what you have, and then the client comes along and tells you, hey, I want to shift this to a rear projection setup. Yes, that's going to be a little bit painful, but we can simplify the process by simply clicking on the screen and going into your object info palette, and under screen type, just change this to rear projector. And once that's done, scroll back down and click on insert projectors again. You'll need to add in the rigging for your projectors again. So this needs to be a side-by-side projection, and it's going to be on a stand. Same drill, but it is a lot easier than redoing it from scratch. If I remember correctly, I also want this to be in a cage. And as always, I want to select the screen and go to classes and make sure that they are in the same default classes. And I want to select all of this and make sure that they are in my container class of production video projector. And now that we have the projectors covered, we can move on to the smaller, cuter tool. This is the television tool, and it is the fourth tool in the audio video palette. The insertion works pretty much the same way. Select the tool, click once to place, and your second click is your rotation. Once you are done, the preferences will open up again. You can just hit OK for now, and let's zoom in and take a look at our television. Okay, you can see we have an LED flat panel over here. In the object info palette, we have the option to change this to a CRT. We can also do a CRT curved if you want it to be old school. And once you switch it to a CRT curve, you do have a couple of options of the casing style. You don't really see a CRT very much these days, so we're going to stick with the flat panel. And in a flat panel, you have your aspect ratio. TVs these days are mostly 16:9, but you have a whole collection of styles for the casing. And just a couple that I want to quickly look at over here is there is a 40-inch conference option. And this basically puts your television on a fold-out stand at a 40 degree angle, 45 degree angle, so that someone standing on stage can look at this as a foldback display. You also have a pedestal, which is the way you would have a television set up at home. And there is also a portable screen, which you would see outside a venue. So once you have a television size that works for you, I'm gonna go with the 42-inch regular screen. You have the option, if you scroll down a little bit more, to add an adjustable stand. So if you're expecting your TV to be placed outside a space or around a booth, displaying certain things, or being used as an extended display, maybe you want a stand like this, you can then also change the height of the stand, just the way you would for a speaker stand, a lighting tree, or any other stand-like structure. For me though, I'm going to stick with a conference style 42-inch display, and I don't need the adjustable stand. I am going to go into classes, and I am going to assign the default classes again and hit OK. And I'm going to place this in a new class, production video TV. So this is going to go into my drawing, and I'm just going to drag it over into my black box over here. And in here I want to turn off my production overhead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this guy a rotation of 25 degrees, and you can see that it is currently facing away from the stage, so we'll just do a minus 180. And I want to place this somewhere around here, and I'm going to mirror this so there is a TV on both sides of the stage. So that covers the television displays and projector tool within Vectorworks Spotlight. We are left with cameras and the LED screen tool. The camera tool is a little bit of a rabbit hole because it's a little bit more than just dropping a symbol into the drawing. But we'll cover all that when we get there in the next installment. In the meantime, you can try adding a projector into this space and seeing how that would work for you. Or you could wait till I cover the LED screen and just do it right from the start. And that's all for now. Bye.